Are you searching for a deeper understanding of your faith?
Inspiring Philosophy is your go-to resource for exploring the rich tapestry of Christian thought.
From biblical archaeology to philosophy of mind, we dive into the topics that matter.
Our content bridges faith and understanding, offering insights into God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament.
Join a community where faith meets reason and discover the answers you've been seeking.
Inspiring Philosophy, where faith meets understanding. We're live. My voice almost cracked.
Hello.
Always
Never
does
happens.
stupid thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't say vowels right. No, there it is right there. See how this is? Anyway, we're going to talk about Israel tonight and why it's why it's in the Bible, according to Senator Cruz. And yeah, we are commanded to bless the modern state of Israel. Oh my gosh, this was a bad interview. It was so annoying. Did you guys see it? Did you watch it at all, Than?
I watched the timestamp that you sent me, and then I made the mistake of listening to the whole thing.
Yeah, that was dumb.
It was like a train wreck. I just couldn't stop.
Ridvan didn't watch it. That was smart of him.
I didn't watch much of it. I only saw a little bit of it. I saw some clips, some bits where Tucker Carlson was asking really dumb questions, and then one where Ted Cruz was doing the whole connection, this wrong connection to the Bible and Israel, and that's the two things that I've seen, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the part we're gonna review. So you're right in the right place there, though. Ted Cruz making a wrong. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Oh no! Oh no!
Your body's ready.
Your body is ready, but your spirit is not willing. So let me put this up here so we can just dive right in, because let's not even delay. Let's just get right into it here. Forget what I'm doing.
I gotta say one thing before we start, which is that there's one thing you should know, IP, which is that although you took my intro music, my intro will always be better than your intro. Just so you know.
How dare you? How dare you? I am the new and improved version. That's what it is. I'm like the Quran on the Bible. I have updated it from these oral traditions I heard. See? I just blended it with my own ideas.
Makes sense.
Makes total sense here. So thank you for becoming a channel member, however you pronounce that weird and creepy image of female Shrek.
Right.
Maybe it's trans Shrek. Shrek.
It's
Trans
Shrek's
Shrek.
daughter.
Is that what it is? It's creepy. It's creepy as hell. Thank you for becoming a member. IP, do Christians and Muslims worship the same God? I don't think so.
Oh, no.
I have a hard time. This is never going to end now. Thanks, Cameron Bertuzzi, for ruining the internet with his stupid question.
Gave away.
Wait! I know what this is about. Yesterday, when we were live on David's channel, there was somebody brought up. It might have been the same person, but somebody said, "Hey, wait a minute. This might be a good trick to figure out what denomination IP belongs to. If we ask him,
So,
it will narrow it down." So,
yeah, that's.
Well
listen, I've been clear though that the church I attend, there are things I disagree with that they would that they promote or they teach. So like, it's kind of like you're shooting. It's kind of like a hit and miss. You're not gonna figure out the church I attend by asking what I believe, because I have a mixed theology and I'm proud of that. So
We're proud of that.
yeah, I would say it's sort of like this. If you want to think of an analogy, like let's say you've got like a beautiful painting of like the Mona Lisa, and so you could say that Protestants have that, and then you could say like Catholics have it, and like Protestants will say Catholics have added too much lighting or the wrong frame, and Catholics will say the same. But then you have Muslims, and what they do is they have like taken a knife and they've cut off like the bottom, maybe the face out of it. And then they've added like new face to it and new aspects to it. And you kind of go like, okay, it's no longer the Mona Lisa. They've mutilated it to the point. They've added in all these new elements that were not in the original painting. It's no longer the Mona Lisa. So it's hard. That's what I sort of look at it when it comes to their belief that they worship the same God. It's like, no, they've mutilated it to the point now where they're now worshiping something totally different. It's a monstrosity. It's not the same God. And that's not the same when you get Protestants, Catholic, Orthodox. It's like you can disagree about the lighting on the painting, the type of frame, this kind of stuff. It's not going to be the same when it comes to what Muslims are doing. So I think they're just too far away from Christian Orthodoxy to be considered that.
Unfortunately, Cameron cursed us all with having to talk about this issue. So
I know. Yeah. Thanks for ruining the internet.
The amount of people that have asked this about me and they're like, oh, I can't wait to see what comes out of this and what other avenues of debate happen. I'm like, I actually hope this dies out so we can talk about stuff that actually matters.
Yeah. Please go away. Stupid. In freaking capturing Christianity. I miss the old days when he just like hosted philosophers you could listen to in the car. Now it's just like these weird sensationalist debates. I
want Cameron to cover the Mount of Alzut.
Have him do that. Why not? I saw your debate with Deep Drinks. Everyone is dishonest whenever they defend a position, apparently. Yeah. So when I was in Australia, which was like a month and a half ago, I did an in-person interview with David McDonald on Deep Drinks. So that was fun. And we did like a drink thing, and he tried to get me like wasted after like a 14-hour flight there. Like he's like landed and it was like felt like nighttime to me. And he's like, all right, let's drink and let's talk about philosophy. So it went up today. And so we're gonna have him on my channel at some point to talk about that. Probably next.
That's very nice.
It's very, very, very nice. Christians and Muslims do not worship the same God. Roman Catholicism, dogma, and Muslims worship the same God. Is that true? I don't think so. I would say Catholics are wrong when they say they worship the same God as Muslims. I would just say that they're missing the mark on that.
The funny thing is, there was a discussion going on earlier. Well, Cameron was going on again about how Muslims do worship the same God, and how there was no historical precedent of Catholics describing that Muslims don't worship the same God and all that. And it is actually historically in the Catholic history there were multiple instances where respected Christians, including Christian rulers, Christian clergy, and so on, Catholic clergy referred to Muslims as servants of demons. Those who have no faith in our God, who are demon worshippers and things like that, and somehow people try to twist these things nowadays and say, oh no, that actually never happened. Catholics always had the position that Muslims also worship the same. No, they didn't.
No. Yeah. Pretty much nonsense there.
Yeah.
AP, thoughts on IDF whistleblowers alleging that the generals like Brig Gen Yehuda Vach ordered them to shoot and target civilians at aid centers? Was that war crimes?
I don't know much about the detail of that at all. I have no idea.
I don't know what to believe anymore. Like, it's just like you check social media and it's like IDF did this, Hamas did this. Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, it's just everyone is sharing real and fake stories mixed in and pretending that like it's all the truth. It's all propaganda. Like, it's a mess.
It's like the Gospels.
Well, there is a so as far as I know, there is an investigation going on from the side of Israel actually into this guy or others within the IDF. So that's what's happening apparently, but I don't know much about it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Again, we'll sort out the details when we get through this ridiculous phase of propaganda being shared in with truth. It's just
We
nonsense.
will never get through
it. Probably.
It will never stop.
There's people
All right,
in
so
the
this
chat
is-
wondering why I look like this looks like this really quick. It's because my internet is out at my house, so I'm in an office of a relatives right now. Which, by the way, Mike, I just got a text saying my internet started working.
Oh, perfect
as soon as
timing.
the stream started. So yeah,
That sounds about right. Yes. Yep. So for those who don't know, this is Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz has not read the Bible.
What?
I know. I was shocked too. I thought he was a biblical expert here, and yeah.
Me too. What the heck?
God. Okay. So yeah, this happened in the middle of the interview. This, I don't know what this fiasco was, but this was basically two people who don't know what they're talking about, constantly arguing about. And then in the middle of all this geopolitical stuff, they're like, let's talk about the Bible. And that's where things went downhill.
Into Iran momentarily, but you suggested it was a strange thing that I said a minute ago, that when I came into the Senate, I resolved that I was going to be the leading defender of Israel. And what you didn't ask is why. So let me tell you why.
No, you said I was obsessed with Israel, and you had just told me that like your driving motive to get to the Senate was to defend Israel. I'm like, I don't think I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel.
Okay.
Why is Tucker popular? This is not like, I just like his laugh and his voice are so annoying. I'm sorry if he's listening.
You said that.
this is the first time I've actually listened to Tucker Carlson, so I had the same reaction.
The funny thing is,
man.
he doesn't understand the complaint that is being made here. So Ted Cruz says to him, "You are obsessed with Israel," and then Ted Cruz also says that he promised, or he swore to himself, that he is going to be the foremost defender of Israel in the Senate. So Ted Cruz says, "You say that to me that I'm obsessed with Israel, but you are obsessed with Israel because you're doing everything for Israel." He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. When you are accused of being obsessed with Israel because you're constantly talking negatively about Israel, that is a very, very different way of being obsessed with Israel. As opposed to someone just admitting that they have a passion for defending Israel, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even think about Israel.
Tucker, words matter.
Yeah, Tucker doesn't think about Israel ever, guys. He's never thinking about Israel.
Never, ever.
Calling the kettle black.
Uh-huh.
And you know that. I said I resolved to be the leading defender of Israel, and you said your driving motive, the reason you're in the Senate.
You want to be the leading defender of Israel. I would think if I ran for Senate, I'd be like, there are people dying of drug ODs on the street.
My driving motive is to fight for Texas and America, and to fight for jobs, and to fight for the Constitution. And you played a very, very careful word game of eliding.
You're the one who said it, not me.
So you still haven't asked why, but I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So,
no. Doesn't say that. Does
Mike,
not say.
He learned that in Sunday school. That nothing you're about to say is going to be enough to overturn the consensus of my Sunday school teacher.
Oh my God.
I mean,
like,
sorry,
this is
Ted Cruz's Sunday school teacher.
Where people get this stuff? It's not what it says. Like,
what does it say, IP? What does it say?
If we go to Genesis 12, it says to Abram, "Go from your country, your kindred, and your father's house into a land that I will show you, and I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, in him whom dishonors you, I will curse, and all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So it's talking about the nation made from Abraham, which is not the modern state of Israel. It's the nation that came out of Abraham that brought us the Messiah. That's the important aspect. And that's fulfilled in Christ. Christ becomes the fulfillment of the nation of this promise. And through him, the people grafted in to the tree of Abraham, grafted through Christ, those become the chosen sons of God. We can see this in scripture. So you just read the New Testament. Like, this is what it's getting at. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Okay. Matthew 3. And do not presume to say to yourselves, we have Abraham as our father. For I tell you, God is able from these stones to raise up children from Abraham. Even now the axe is laid to the root of the trees. Every tree, therefore, that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into fire. 1 Peter 2:5-10 says that we are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. And it quotes Old Testament passages about the chosen people, applies it to Christians today. So this is not just hold to replacement theology, okay? That's not what we're saying here, okay? Replacement theology is completely wrong. What we are saying is Jesus is the fulfillment of that blessing to Abraham. He is the one in whom the nation of Israel that scripture talks about is fulfilled, and all who call upon his name shall be saved, Jew and Gentile.
So here's the problem. You just addressed that that when it says bless those who bless you, it is talking about the nation that brought forth the Messiah. So you would be correct in pointing out that in no way does this refer to the nation state of Israel. However, somebody like Ted Cruz, for example, who holds to certain trends in eschatology or certain trends in covenant theology, in the continuation of the covenant with the people of Israel and so on, would argue that yes, it is not necessarily about the state of Israel, but it is about the people of Israel, meaning the biological descendants of the Israelites, of the Jews themselves. So people like him could then say, okay, this is obviously just about the Jews. So there would be the problem. There would be the difference here. And I know that there are lots of people, including lots of Protestants, who do argue that this is still valid as a as applying to the Jewish people nowadays. And I can see a little bit of nuance in other people saying it doesn't just apply to Jewish people, it applies to the tree, Israel, the collective of those who are descendants of Abraham in one way or another, or others could just apply it as it applies to those who are now Israel after those who are grafted out and those who are grafted in are have basically changed positions. So there is a lot of nuance and a lot of complication to this, but I think that this whole perspective by Ted Cruz, which is that this only applies to the biological descendants of Israel, is kind of like is a very popular American Protestant perspective.
It is. I mean, Than, you can jump in here in a minute, but this is what I grew up with. It was dispensationalism. I remember hearing this all the time, that like we're waiting for the fulfillment of prophecy through this nation of Israel, yada yada yada, and I don't see dispensationalism in scripture. Like it's a view that basically that history is divided into these different sections. So you have like God deals with humanity different between like Adam and Abraham, and then different between like Abraham and like Moses, and like Moses and Jesus. Now he deals with the church differently, and then he'll deal again differently. And this is just nowhere taught in scripture. That's the main core of dispensationalism. And so like the church age is a mystery to dispensationalists, as like Kenneth Gentry notes in his book. Like that he doesn't fit into the whole picture here. But again, this is just not taught in scripture anywhere. It's a weird framework projected onto the Bible. But go ahead, Than.
Nothing. I was just going to kind of tack on something to what Ridvan was saying, and it's complementary to what you're saying, but it's just, I feel like that eschatological argument just won't make sense of a lot of stuff that Paul says, right? Like in Galatians 3, Paul explicitly says it's those who have faith who are of the seed of Abraham. And he's not making a genetic argument there, right? He's kind of pointing that the seed of Abraham isn't something that's explicitly tied to geopolitical boundaries or ethnicity, but the seed of Abraham is the people that belong to the God of Abraham, right? And so I just feel like if you read a lot of the Pauline writings through the New Testament and take those seriously, it really flies in the face of these readings of the text, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean we like hate Israel, like the state that a lot of people do. Like, I agree with Ridvan a lot on this. Like when he was debating with Andrew Wilson, like it's if they're facing annihilation, we have a duty as Christians to defend people facing annihilationism or facing annihilation. That is, and so like the people sort of like jump on that. Like if you were like, yeah, I don't think Israel should be annihilated. I don't think, from the river to the sea should happen. That people go, oh, you must be a dispensationalist. It's like, oh, this is Jewish. You're such a, you're paid by Mossad. It's like, no. Like, still waiting on my Mossad check, Ridvan, when you sign me up.
It takes a while, man. You have to do. You have to prove yourself. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll keep working on it so I can get that.
There is also the important aspect, which is which I also tried to kind of make clear in my debate with Andrew Wilson, for example, which is that while while we can agree, for example, that that there is in the Bible, that there is in Romans and in other parts in the writings of Paul clearly a description of the tree that the Jews belong to, that the biological descendants, that the natural branches belong to, and then at some point they are broken off. Those who now believe in Christ are grafted in, but he still says that that God did not abandon those who do not believe, and he did not abandon those who were broken off, because he does not take back his promises.
Right.
And so he still has a special relationship with those who are the biological descendants of that tree. So with the Israelites, or with the Jews. And it does say that as a prophecy for the future, Saint Paul clearly says that it is a mystery, and that there is a partial blinding and a temporary blinding put upon the natural branches, upon those who descend biologically from Abraham, but that eventually God will somehow, through a mystery, graft them in. And then we have early scholars and early people who are considered saints, have said that this did not happen, and if this did not happen, it is bound to happen at one point or another, most definitely in the future. So there is still kind of a special place that the Jews have within the the plan of God, but it probably wouldn't be what Ted Cruz is describing here.
No, yeah, and this is Than and I are both post-millennialists. This is one of my arguments for post-millennialism. You look like Matthew 23:39. Jesus says to the Jews, "You will not see me again until you say, 'Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.'" But then Romans 11 says there's been a hardening so that the fullness of the Gentiles can come in. Then all Israel will be saved. So all the Gentiles will come in. Then Israel will be saved. Then Jesus returns. That's my general timeline for the future as a post-millennialist. So let me get back to this here. Let's get back to Ted butchering the Bible.
That's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis, but so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Hey, Tucker. Now listen here, Tucker. It says there in the Bible right there. Listen, right over there in that book of Genesis chapter 54, verse 47. You got to bless them Israelites. You got to bless them Israel. Let them do whatever they want, no matter what happens.
This reminded me of that time in the Jubilee thing with Jordan Peterson going, "Stop it. Conduct yourself with whatever he's." That's why.
This one. Wait a minute. Wait, this one.
Don't be a smart
Yeah,
ass.
you got it, don't you?
Seriously. I mean it. Conduct yourself properly. Don't be a smart ass. Seriously.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
Hold on.
I'm not holding up.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on.
But I mean, like, this is two different things. Okay. Notice the shift here. Ted goes from God says to Israel somewhere in the Bible, apparently, if you bless Israel, meaning the modern nation state, you'll be blessed. Therefore, he can say, we are commanded to bless Israel, which doesn't actually follow philosophically. That's absurd. Like,
Yeah.
Now, here's a funny thing. Ted Cruz could very well, make a good point here about being commanded to. I mean, he could, even if he's not, even if not everybody agrees with him theologically, he could actually make a proper point here, that Christians have kind of like an obligation or a commandment to bless the people of Israel. But this is the issue. And I appreciate much of what he does, and I do notoriously or popularly do hold that that the alliance between America and Israel is a fantastic one, and that it should continue. And I'm completely in favor of supporting Israel. However, why in the world would you go and sit down here and bring this up, bring up theology, and then know nothing about it, and then not even be able to explain it? Like, this is just so bad, man. You're just handing the other side everything. But how did he even think this is a good idea? I don't get it.
I don't either. It's really, really weird. I just like, he was annoyed that like Tucker was pressing him in this, and then his response was, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just go to theology so I sound better." And he made him look worse. Like now he looks frazzled and stupid.
Now he
Like,
can't justify it.
Yeah, exactly. This is so weird. I don't get it.
Do you think he actually normatively holds to dispensationalism or anything?
Oh, for sure. The way he's talking, he's a dispensationalist. It'd be
Sounds
hard
like
to
it,
deny
yeah.
that.
Are there other clips of him talking about this kind of stuff?
Not throughout this interview, if I recall. I think this is just the main part where they get into it, because they spend a lot of time talking about Iran.
Yeah,
I can look. I've not seen anything.
I'm not saying to look now. I was just curious.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. So who knows? Could be. I wouldn't be surprised, given it's Ted Cruz and he does this kind of crap where he thinks, like, oh, I'll just say all this stuff about the Bible and why we're commanded to support the modern nation state. It's like, dude, that's absurd.
This is so funny. I see a comment here saying, AP, show me one verse in the Bible where Jesus would affirm starvation of the children for the 76 years. Dude, are you even aware how ridiculously stupid that sounds?
Very, very. Yeah. AP, you see, you support starving children for 67 years.
Really? They're starving? They're being starved for 76 years?
Well, I mean, they're old people now, and they've been starving that long. And they somehow survive for that long. I mean, I don't get how that. I don't think he knows how children work. They eventually grow up. Right?
They don't. Huh?
No, they stay children.
Yeah.
Only in the magical land.
In Gaza, they stay children. Yeah.
On, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel. Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis. That's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel. Yes.
No. So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel.
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis? Is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
No. It's like hard to watch. It's so dumb.
See, I thought I could give him the benefit of the doubt, but this is the thing. I was having a while ago. I was actually having a conversation with Sam Shamoon about this behind the scenes, and we both kind of came to the conclusion. Some people think that Sam Shamoun has something against Jews. He actually really doesn't. So we were basically in agreement that there are two sides which made this whole conversation about Israel pretty bad. One of those sides is, of course, the brutally anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist side, but the other side, unfortunately, is also precisely this side here, that that gives people this warped, strange interpretation and understanding of prophecy and of scripture and of theology in relation to Israel. And then he even fails to defend it. He can't even defend it. He can't even describe it. He can't even define it. And then he actually does point out that it points to Israel, the state, which doesn't even make sense. Like, how do you find that in the Bible? There half of the Jews right now in the world are outside of the state of Israel and have nothing to do with it. Half of them are inside Israel. It clearly does not refer to the state of Israel. So this side also makes the whole conversation much worse and basically helps those who want to attack Jews for no reason.
Exactly, because he makes it look stupid, and then the anti-Semites just jump on this kind of crap, and they're like, "Oh, look how dumb they are. Therefore, it's okay to chant from the river to the sea. We must genocide the Jews out of Israel."
Exactly.
Corporate conquest. Ted's argument. I was told this in Sunday school. Yeah, that was pretty much what he said. I mean, like,
that's pretty bad.
This guy's coming back. He says, Telegraph had a report on it. Whistleblower described it as a killing field. Netanyahu instantly called it a blood libel. Not a great look. I mean, we can look into it. I've not seen much about it. Yeah.
Well, so when I'm looking it up here, I see that the IDF launched a probe into it. So the IDF itself is investigating it.
Yeah, it's not like it's not as black and white as people make this kind of stuff out to be. So
precisely.
Yeah, it's really hard to navigate through and to find. Man, that's why I don't really make any public comments on it.
Mm-hmm. IP, how come you disagree with the one true church? Disagree with every one true church in some way or one another, but not on core doctrines. I agree with the one true church on all core essential doctrines. So there. So.
At least.
That's dispensationalism, Patrick. Yeah, Lutheran satire is going to come up later in the stream for sure. If you guys did not see yet, the beautiful thing that dropped today. Bless the atheist Jews and God will bless you, says Eastern Roman fan. I think we should be blessing all people everywhere and all the time, regardless of what we believe. Like, are you saying we should? Is this sarcastic that we shouldn't bless someone just because they have incorrect theology?
I think that's what he's saying, which is pretty dumb.
It's pretty dumb. I mean, like, you could go to a Catholic priest and get a blessing anytime you want. They're not going to say something like, "Oh, well, do you believe the right theology?" No. This was this whole controversy, like I think a year or so ago, when there was like this thing that came out with Pope Francis about blessing gay couples, and it's like everyone like said, "Oh, they're going to now start blessing same-sex unions," and that's not what the report said. It said they will, if a gay couple comes and they want to bless a blessing, just a general blessing for being, the image of God, Catholic priests will do that, and they were just reaffirming the position the Catholic Church had. But people took it out of context to say, like, "Oh yeah, they're affirming same-sex union," and really they're just affirming they will bless anyone who comes and asks for a blessing, like atheist, gay, you name it, doesn't matter.
Gaytheists.
A gaytheist, yes, even that. Well, I don't know about that. I don't think they bless Than like that.
Probably not. I'm too out there.
IP is the exciting tomorrow's live stream about Sijuati versus Garb, or Siju Garb only Than along with yourself, rather responding to a video. Yeah, tomorrow on the channel. Here, let me put it up here. These two guys in the middle here are going to debate the Trinity, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Than?
Yeah, correct. They're both. I'm good friends with both of them, so they asked me to moderate the discussion since I don't know.
What's
I'm
their
a atheist.
What's their debate? What's there
They're
to debate?
debating Trinity versus partialism.
Oh,
Yeah. So I said it can only happen if Sijuwadi destroys them. Utterly destroys them. So Sijuwadi promised he would. So I assume that's going to happen. You see, even the Bible hints about the magic Jew blood. IP, you heard that Catholics confess that we worship the same Allah. Means they're Muslim, says Dawa Troll. Yes, magic Jew blood. That was the weirdest thing in your debate with Andrew Wilson. Like, dude, you believe in the Eucharist, right? You believe in magic Jew blood. Like,
Wait.
why are you mocking this?
Can you provide context? I didn't watch the debate.
Oh my goodness, Stan, I'm disappointed in you. All right, hold on. I will pull it up here.
Oh,
So
no.
Andrew Wilson debated Ridvan on this whole issue. And he kept saying magic Jew blood. Like, Ridvan believes in magic Jew blood.
well, since I was arguing, which is factual, that those who descend from from the Israelites, or those those who are described as the natural branches, have a special relationship with God, and God favored them, and still kind of does for their ancestors' sake. Andrew Wilson was kind of mocking this idea and saying, "Oh, so they have magic Jew blood? Are you saying they have magic Jew blood?" And at some point, I just said, "Yeah, actually, they do." So
here's him saying it.
You say
For
that
the
they have
sake of-
magic Jew blood?
For the sake of yes, for the sake
Yes.
of yes,
And
Yes.
do you think that the
For-
Orthodox Church
for
supports
the sake
that?
of their ancestors.
You think that the Orthodox Church believes that Jews have magic Jew blood, which puts
No.
them above Orthodox
No.
Christians?
No.
Then your point is moot.
What does
What even was going on? I just like,
it was very bad.
it's like, yeah, that was
Magic
the one.
Jew blood.
I mean, Andrew Wilson is an incredibly good debater. That was the one debate he did not do his thing in it. Like, that was one he just definitely came underperforming for sure. And I was surprised. I thought he was going to come out much stronger. He did not. He magic Jew blood the whole time and Antichrist. And it's like, come on, this is fear mongering. These aren't real arguments.
I thought he was going to go hard, but he didn't.
No.
Maybe he was just. Maybe I paid him to be soft. I don't know.
Maybe that was the
He was
Mossad. paid him.
afraid.
Mossad threatened him, told him, "You better lose this debate, otherwise we will curse you with our magic Jew blood."
Yes. So I think it's absolutely true and completely biblically accurate that that God throughout the ages, even after the Jews reject Christ and fail to believe in him, still has a special relationship with them and still has a special plan for them.
Yeah.
And still will reconcile them in one way or another, which is what Paul says. So that's absolutely undeniable. And anyone who says, "No, that's not true, the Jews have nothing to do with this," and all that, that's not biblical.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And then people like Ted Cruz come along and they interpret it. Oh, you mean that we're supposed to bless the modern state of Israel and agree with everything they say and do? It's like,
No.
thanks, Ted. Real big help there. Does Ted think that the Muslims, Druze, Gentile citizens of Israel count as biblical Israel of the blessing as well? What about the diaspora Jews? Weird stance. Very well said, Ash. Yeah. Very well said. Yeah. It's could you imagine, like, what if all of Israel became Muslim? Like, they all just decided to convert to Islam. Would he still think that we need to bless the nation state of Israel?
Probably.
That's ridiculous.
Mm.
So are we just going to ignore Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza? Christians are of no obligation to support a state like that. Ridvan, is there genocide in Gaza?
Well, there is no genocide going on, so I'm not sure what you were talking about when you say ignore. There is nothing to ignore because there is no genocide. You are simply falling for for a propaganda machine that has sold to the world over the last 1.5 years that there is a genocide going on. There is no court or anything that has come to a conclusion that there is a genocide going on. There is there's nothing that meets the criteria of it being a genocide. There is no genocidal intent by those who are in charge that has ever been revealed, and there is no mass killing or mass destruction taking place. On the contrary, the population of Gaza has been growing, except for a certain part of the population that left during the process temporarily, and there were actually more pregnant women than there were deaths throughout this war. So there is no genocide.
But this is a call for genocide. From the river to the sea calls for genocide, because you're basically saying from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, we need to remove all the Jews. That's what that saying means. And it's similar to the saying after Saturday comes Sunday in the Middle East, which is we're going to deal with the Saturday people than the Sunday people. So
that's true.
From a whole pragmatic standpoint, like we're dealing with people that want to subjugate the entire world, which is the Islamic world, and like Israel is a thorn in their side. Like it's right in the middle of their heartland. It's like kind of like a Western state set up there. It's the perfect way to distract them and keep them focused on them instead of trying to like return to Iberia or Greece or Sicily or other places they've ruled in and they've been kicked out of as well. Like this is from a whole pragmatic standpoint, it makes total sense.
I mean, if you don't care about the Jews, if you care about the Christians, just let them, let them fight, because it's at least going to spare the Christians. Be smart.
Yeah. Ted Cruz is a lizard person who's only mimicking human behavior. I blame Calvinism. AP, big up, fan, big up. Oh, and just bought some merch from the IP online store. Appreciate it. But yes, Ted Cruz is obviously a lizard person.
And yes, it is the fault of the Calvinists.
Everything's the fault of the Calvinists. They messed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Shame on them.
Where is this video at? Okay, let me get back to this.
Yes,
it is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
But he's the prime minister,
right?
What?
But just like America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle.
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
you believe Israel. That's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying,
let me try to get this straight. Okay, so when the kingdom of Israel stopped existing, they decided they're going to continue their state as a modern parliament, secular parliament. That is, like, this is what a lot of Orthodox Jews are kind of upset about. Like, they would say, like, it's not even the real Israel because the Messiah isn't there, who they would think is the Messiah acting as king. So, like, I've been told by some Orthodox Jews, like, that are not pro-Israel, they're upset with Israel's existence because it should be set up like the ancient Israel. I'm not saying this is all Orthodox Jews, but I've had some tell me this, that they don't like the modern secular Israel because it's not set up the way they would want according to the ancient Davidic kingdom with a messianic figure ruling from Jerusalem. So, like, I don't know how Ted can say such stupid things.
Yeah, according to their belief, it has to be the Messiah would have to come forth and lead all that, and not some secular guys who want to establish a secular state. The thing is, I never really liked the whole idea of even if you don't want to go into Christian theology, I never really liked the idea of saying, "Oh, Israel has been there for thousands of years."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say that there was an Israel in the past. There was an Israel thousands of years ago. There was a kingdom of Israel. There were Jewish states. However, I wouldn't use that as an argument to say that the Israel that is there right now is just that. I would say it could be, it would be an attempt by the Jewish people to rebuild their homeland in that region, in the region of Israel. But I wouldn't try to make it look like the modern state of Israel is directly that ancient kingdom of Israel. I think that fails, and it theologically is very unsound.
And also, like, there are people that complain that the Jews should never have gone there. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but fine. What do we do now? They're there. They've been there for almost a century. Do we just kick them all out now? Like,
no.
If all like the rumors are true about the colonial aspect of it, we don't fix evil with evil. You don't just genocide, kick out a bunch of people that have been there for decades, almost a century at this point. Like, it's just not going to fix anything. It's going to make things worse at this point.
Powerful.
I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is. So I don't know if we can.
I just love Ted. Like, that's not what it says, but I don't know where it actually is there in the Bible or what it actually says. But I know what you're saying is wrong, Tucker.
I really want to see the alternative universe where Ted actually showed the Bible verse, and we could watch them engage in like a hermeneutical debate with each other.
I don't want to watch that. That would have been twice as worse. I feel like. It would have been the stupidest thing ever. You think? See what they mean by Abraham? See, the only reason why Abram only has 5 letters in it, Tucker, is because it refers to the 4 Gospels and Acts. That's what those 5 letters in English refer to. It's exactly what would happen. You know I'm right.
I don't remember the scriptural citation, but. Okay, I keep.
Then why did you bring it up
or something like that? But yes,
why exactly? Why did you bring it up if you don't even know what it says?
Don't be ridiculous.
It's in the earlier part of the book, but the point is,
all right, Tucker, you keep interrupting me before I finish my sentence.
It's just important to know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're. So you're saying, as a Christian, if I believe in Jesus, I have to support the modern state of Israel.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm explaining for me what my motivation is.
But okay, so I'm just trying to understand. You said,
but that kind of contradicts what he said earlier, because he said we are commanded to support Israel. Now he's like, no, it's just me, bro. It's just me. This is what I think. Make up your mind, Ted. You're making Tucker look good. That's not good. How do you do that? That's hard to do, and you're doing a really good job of it.
Ted, God tells you to support the modern state of Israel in the Bible, in some place in the Bible that you heard about, but you don't know where it is. That's your theology?
You're going back. Am I a sleazy feline again? I mean,
if you accuse me of anti-Semitism again, I will say that, but I don't think you will.
Try to be a little less condescending. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Condescending. You're throwing this stuff out, and it's my job to figure out what you're talking about. Okay, but I don't understand.
But you're not letting me.
Okay. I'm sorry. I want to be polite.
That is for me a personal motivation, but I also, what I was about to say, I don't believe my personal faith, not everyone who I represent is a Christian. It's not an argument for me to give that we should do this because of my faith. And so as an elected official, I don't give that as the reason we should support Israel. That is a personal motivation for me.
Hold on. Now, I actually understand one thing here, and that actually makes sense, which is that he started this whole thing, this whole explanation, because he was asked why he personally made it his goal to defend or to stand up for Israel. So he then started to explain that because this is what he believes, this is what he's committed to. So it actually makes sense for him to say, this is just my personal conviction. I don't say that everyone else should be doing this.
Yeah, it's based on
the one thing that. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
It's just based on an inculcating of Genesis and the New Testament. But yeah, go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just going to say the one thing that I would just. You're right, Ridvan, but the one thing that I think is a little confusing is Tucker is saying, well, I'm a Christian. Are you saying I should support Israel because of what the Bible says? Or am I off base there and thinking that like this was almost like an escape hatch? That's how I felt listening to this.
I mean, still, you could say that that I don't think. I mean, I have this belief because of this is my Christian belief or my Christian understanding of it and what I was taught. I don't necessarily think that you have to agree with it. I mean, I guess you could view it that way. I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah, I was just curious. That's all. And
for me, but I don't think it is the reason we should. The reason that I am the leading defender of Israel is because Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East, an incredibly troubled part of the world, and supporting Israel benefits America. And the clearest illustration of that is what is happening right now. Let me just make this point, and then
and then I'll just ask what you mean. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, Iran, I think the most acute national security threat facing America right now is the threat of a nuclear Iran. I think China is the biggest long-term threat, but acute and near-term is a nuclear Iran.
Okay.
Agreed.
And I think Israel is doing a massive favor to America right now by trying to take out Iran's nuclear capacity. And the reason I view Iran differently, we talked before about Iraq. I opposed the Iraq war. We talked about Syria. I opposed military intervention in Syria. The reason for that is those did not pose a threat to the United States. I think Iran is markedly different. Number one, the Ayatollah is a religious zealot. He is a lunatic, but a particularly dangerous kind of lunatic because he's driven by religious fervor. When he says death to America and death to Israel, I believe him. And I think Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon because there is a very real possibility they would use a nuclear weapon. So you want to ask, how does supporting Israel benefit us? Right now, this tiny little country, the size of the state of New Jersey, is fighting our enemies for us and taking out their top military leadership and trying to take out their nuclear capacity. That makes America much safer.
True. What were you saying? Yeah.
And I agree with him almost entirely with in this regard. Iran, not Iran, but the Islamic regime of Iran, the Islamic government in Iran that is in charge of it, very clearly and very obviously has an apocalyptic goal of becoming the leader of the region foremost, and then the leader of the of the world, basically, to expand the revolution that they have and to meddle in all kinds of different countries. They have been meddling in the Middle East since the revolution happened. And there is a very serious danger that they want to escalate further and further and further to lead to a greater war, because they have an actual legitimate apocalyptic death cult ideology where they think that it is their role to spread the revolution and to bring about the return of the Mahdi and to then make the world subservient to him and so on.
Why do they want to make the world serve you? I don't get it.
Good point. That's a good point.
I hope it works. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. But this is Islam. I mean, I read In God's Path by Robert Hoyland. And
awesome.
That's how Islam started. It just started this massive conquest, moving out of Arabia, slaving, conquering all sorts of nations, and then that grows into when they re-identify themselves around religious ideology in the form of Islam, and that's just what Islam has been. I mean, here's a video I found today of Sheikh Yasser Qadi, who's not a Shiite, but I believe he's a Sunni, kind of talking about how excited he is that they're going to take over Sweden.
Stockholm is less than 1 million, right? And in Stockholm, if you have 10% Muslim, I was in the city of Malmö. Malmö is spelled with an O, but it's pronounced Malmö. And they said that if the Swedish population maintains its negative and the Muslim population maintains, Muslims have, mashallah, the average of 5, 6, 7 kids, right? The average, mashallah, is the secret weapon, I say. That the prediction is, this is the halal secret weapon, guys, huh? So nobody take the video and miss it. Halal secret weapon. It's not our fault we have more kids, guys. You want to do whatever you want to do. It's all halal, alhamdulillah. So if the projection continues, I was told by one of the local counselors there that within 1 generation, it is very likely that this city will almost be half Muslim. Because this city is just not there. The locals are not reproducing. It's not our fault. I mean, it's not, I don't know why they're getting irritated at us. It's not our fault we're having kids, right? So it's not even, so the point is what's going to happen to the majority? Now, finish off on this negative note. You know, the Swedish Quran burning. You're hearing this happening, right? I passed by the place where the guy did it. And he did it in a district of Malma that is 90% Muslim.
So yeah, this is very much the ideology of Islam. They're spreading out, conquering, and taking over different regions, and it's getting kind of ridiculous at this
And
point.
this is really what pisses me off. Like you have this guy arrogantly and gleefully talking about how Islam is taking over, and inshallah, when if it continues like this, then we will finally take it all over, and everything will be awesome, and all that. And then you have these idiots going around saying, "No, Jews. Dude, these people, they're mocking you, they're humiliating you, they are replacing you, they are proud of it, they are dreaming of locking you guys up for expressing your opinions and all that, and you are obsessed with Jews because these guys actually want you to be freaking dumbass idiots."
That's well said. Yeah, and supporting Israel. They're the ones fighting a lot of these Islamic regimes, like Iran, for example, preventing them from using weapons of war in terms of that conquest. And I don't understand why we'd be against that or not with them. I'm not saying everything Israel does is perfect, good, or we should agree with. Like, they do a lot of dumb things that we should reject. But still, in terms of just like pragmatism, like they're the perfect ally in that region for many, many reasons. It's absurd. Here we got a 2-part super chat. I see a lot of whitewashing of people by Christians. If there's divergence on some beliefs, I think we should be more judicious and allow people to disagree about topics without throwing out everything. Example, I really disagree with Cornel West, but I also really respect him.
No,
I don't know anything about Cornel West. No.
If you don't fight about it, then you're doing it wrong.
Doing it wrong, yes. The Davidic monarchy continues through Jesus, yet modern Israel is a republic, meaning it has no monarch. Correct. And that is why the Bible does not command us to support the modern nation state of Israel, despite what Ted Cruz likes to say. You conflate dispensationalism with post-supersessionist theology. Paul seems to believe in the gifts of God being irrevocable in reference to the Jewish people. Yeah, I'm not saying the gifts of God have been revoked. Like, I'm not saying that at all. Me being against dispensation has nothing to do with that. I'm not sure if there was a misunderstanding there or not. I've never said the gifts of God have been revoked. Israel is still, like, the Jewish people still have a part in God's plan. Like, as I said earlier, it's Romans 11 talks about this. They will be saved when the fullness of Gentiles comes in, and then Christ returns after that. So there's still those promises are still there. Ted doesn't know the verse that says we must defend nation of Israel is next to the verse that tells us the location of the One Piece. Watch it. Than. Oh, hi, IP.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where One Piece is. Did they ever find the One Piece in the show One Piece?
I have no idea.
I've not watched it. I watched a few episodes and I'm like, I can't. Just too much of a commitment.
I watched the live action Netflix show. I thought it was okay, but I'm sure it pissed off a lot of the hardcore fans. I can only assume because that's what always happens. There's a different types of dispensational theology. Yeah, the type you grew up sounds like classical. Yes, that's true. It's a minority form. Well, it wasn't when, at least in the church I was in. Please ask Daryl Bach on again to discuss. He's a respected scholar and a progressive dispensationalist. Maybe in the future I could do something like that. He's a pretty busy man. It's hard to get him on. Like, I had to get him on, and he was in the freaking car driving on his way to teach.
I remember seeing that. I was like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, he had like an emergency to go teach for somebody, and then he had to like do the entire interview in a car. If you bless my child, you bless me. If you bless a Jew, you bless Abraham. God is fiercely loyal. Paul said God's promises to Abraham are irrevocable. God will for sure curse any nation against the Jews. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate, because Jesus talked about trees being cut off, a house being desolate. And Romans 11, you have branches that have been taken off. They can be grafted back in. The wild branches have been grafted in, but that doesn't mean every single Jew gets the promises if they've been cut off by their own choice in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of assumptions there not supported by the data. And also, Abraham had other children. Like, for example, what about the Edomites, for example? Are they part of that promise too? Amalek comes from Abraham, I believe,
what
as
about
well.
What about the people grafted into the group of Israel? like Rahab and the Gibeonites and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of assumptions not justified by the scripture. Yeah, we should bless all people, including the Jews, people in Israel. We should support people that are facing genocide when they're surrounded by nations that want them cut off, kicked out. Like, absolutely. And we're not saying the promises have been revoked. The Jews will be saved, but they need to believe in Jesus. That's the important part. Tucker's saying he's a Christian as a joke. Dude, I don't know what he believes. Did you guys see that weird interview where he said a demon attacked him in his bed?
What?
No, I admittedly, I have a confession to make. I don't watch Tucker Carlson, so.
Okay, hold on. Let me. He said, okay, I gotta put this up because he said this really weird thing.
Do you think the presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good?
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh yeah, I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism, or just
in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife.
The men of all suits.
Physically mauled.
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left.
Is that right?
Claw marks on my sides, on my.
So they left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. Year and a half ago.
Can we see
Was
him?
your wife terrified?
Maybe it was his wife.
I wasn't.
Why are they showing a video of him shooting a gun when he's talking about a demon? Is he shooting the demons? I mean, is this the plot to Doom, like the game, the Doom games?
Well, but maybe it was his wife. I don't know.
She just was sick and tired of him watching him sleep in there. The hormones kick in, and she's just hit him, and then she goes back to sleep really fast. He wakes up. What happened, honey? Oh, I think a demon got you. Wasn't me. He says there's claw marks on his side. He says they're still there, but they don't show them.
Well, if he says it, it must be true. So.
Immediately skeptical, of that kind of stuff. If this actually happened, show us the claw marks, dude. Sure, you can say maybe.
Dude, he said it. That's enough.
That's
he
almost
said it.
as good of an argument as I learned this in Sunday school.
That's powerful.
Powerful. If you look like Tucker Carlson claw marks, he's not showed them. Where are they?
There's the demon right there. He took a picture of it.
They took a picture. Just took a selfie right before. Hey guys, I'm live in Tucker's room, about to maul him. Tucker Carlson's a strange fellow. If Jerusalem, God forbid, were to fall to ISIS or Turkey or Shia Iran or the Taliban, what would happen to Christians' holy sites? Therefore, Christians should support Israel against its enemies. Yeah, it's as. I think some of these. I don't think Turkey, for example, would destroy Christian sites, but Taliban would.
Yeah, I don't think Turkey would do much. They also, they historically didn't do much. The Turks historically didn't do much against the sites. They did do some destructions here and there. One of the most messed up things to me is Temple Mount, man. The Temple Mount, when the Romans destroyed the Second Temple, they built a pagan temple in place of the of the temple. And when the Roman Empire converted to Christianity, they basically, I think, they dismantled it or just left it to decay and left it untouched. And the Christians, for the entire time, just left the place untouched. They didn't want to put anything inside of it because it was associated with important biblical stuff. They didn't want to interfere and do anything about it. As soon as the Muslims took over, they were like, all right, it's ours now. Let's build a huge mosque on top of it.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Matthew 18:6 talks about Muhammad. That's true. That's the verse where it says, whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea.
That's powerful.
It's very powerful. Absolutely. What Ted Cruz is getting wrong is the nation doesn't equal a political entity like a state. Even if the Bible does tell us to support the nation of Israel, that does not mean supporting the state of Israel. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And even like some of the kings in the Old Testament were pretty bad. We're not supposed to support them. Yeah. Or, you got to separate that aspect out. Settler attacks against Palestinian Christians with full protection from the Israeli army and the occupation is a reason for the decline of Christianity in Palestine. At least that is what the scholars say. Is Christianity declining in Palestine, Ridvan?
Well, it depends on what you mean by Palestine. Is it declining in Israel? No, it's not. It's actually growing. Is it declining in the Palestinian territories? Yes, it is. And there is a mix of elements, which is a mix of causes, including the oppression or the discrimination coming from the Palestinian Muslim side. Also, difficulties imposed by Israel within this conflict. Many things like that. So Christianity is declining in Gaza and in the West Bank, but in Gaza it's pretty much non-existent at this point. There's it went from over 5,000 to probably a few hundred people over the last decades. But yeah, so there is one problem which I do agree with, which is that there are certain communities in Israel that are unchecked and extreme, such as that there are certain settler groups on the Jewish side that that also cause trouble, and they don't have the full protection. That would be a misrepresentation. They often do get in trouble with the law, but I have to say the current government, the Netanyahu government, works with certain religious elements that also do protect some of these radical extremist settlers, and the government doesn't want to lose those people, so they do discriminate and give these settlers some permissions to commit certain attacks against the Palestinians and so on. That said, usually these things are not allowed, and usually they get in trouble. So Israel is not seen as a country where Christianity is oppressed or discriminated against for good reasons.
It's not like the Muslim countries around them have been really good for Christians. Like, this is a book I just read called a book I just started called The Price of Freedom Denied. It talks about in Turkey, the Christians accounted for 20% of the total population at the time, but today the community is decimated. At most, some 300,000 remain, accounting for only about 2%. And of course, it had a lot to do with the Armenian genocide that the Turkish government denies. So,
what genocide? You lying?
Lying! That's not what I meant, bro. I'm not sure what this is in reference to. Everyone seems to forget if we acknowledge saying that the old covenant is still in effect, that still doesn't guarantee God's protection. God did not hesitate to sweep the state away if they broke the covenant with him. Yes, that's true. They could be exiled. The U.S. and Israel went to war. Who would you support? Depends on the war and why they're fighting. You can't you don't pick a side based on nationalism. You pick a side based on the ethics of it all.
I mean, I would have to support America, but if it was like an unjust war, I would fight for justice to it. But still, of course, siding with America.
Did you guys see one of the outtakes of the Tucker Carlson interview that just dropped today? It just came out today. This is a sneak shot. Not a lot of people have seen this. This is an outtake of Tucker Carlson debating with Ted Cruz, and they get into a little bit more about the Bible here. I thought this would be interesting to share.
Oh, let's do it.
Tucker, growing up in church, I was always taught that those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And you think that refers to the modern state of Israel? Of course. Well, then it seems your foreign policy is influenced by a false teaching called premillennial dispensationalism, which means it would probably benefit our audience if we debate that issue. Very well. But instead, I'm just going to ask a bunch of dumb gotcha questions and then laugh like an epileptic hyena when you don't know the answers. And I will not know that. Oh, perfect. What a total waste of time. Now, Ted Cruz, where in the Bible does it say that those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed? The front part? The front part? Yeah, somewhere near the begats, so you don't know the exact verse. No. Okay, well, it's Genesis 12:3, but that passage isn't referring to the modern state of Israel. It's referring to the nation born to Abraham, the nation which would bring about the one to bless all the nations of the earth, the Savior Jesus Christ. So it would probably be good for me to ask you how a nation formed in 1948 AD around a religion that explicitly rejects Jesus could be the same nation. That would be a great question to ask. But I'm not gonna. Ted Cruz, how many red pandas does the Tisch Family Zoological Gardens in Jerusalem have? 3? I can't believe this. You literally want to force American soldiers to donate their kidneys to Israeli bankers, and you don't even know how many red pandas are in Jerusalem. So how many? It's 3. That's what I guessed. Yeah, but you guessed. Now tell me, Senator, why do you believe the current nation called Israel is the same nation as Israel in the Bible? Well, it's the same word, Tucker. So if two things have the same name, they're the same thing? Yes, always. Are the ancient kingdom of Moab and Moab, Utah the same place? Yes. Are Michael Jordan and Michael B. Jordan the same person? They are 95% the same person. Are Dustin Hoffman and Alan Dershowitz the same person? Those are different names. Right, but like separate topic. Is it possible that all Jews are really just different avatars of the same trickster plasma spirit that has plagued the sons of Japheth since time immemorial? What? I'm just asking questions. Tucker, the Jews are not demons. The Jews are God's chosen people. Senator, you need to read Romans. Paul explicitly states that no one is a Jew who is one outwardly. He says that to be a part of God's chosen people, you need to actually believe the promise of the Messiah that God gave to the children of Abraham. And Paul also says that God has now grafted the believing Gentiles into the tree of believing Israel, which would make the church God's chosen race and holy nation, something Peter explicitly says we are in chapter 2 of his first epistle. So with all that in mind, Senator, let's get serious for a minute. Okay. Can you sing Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping in its original Hebrew? I don't speak Hebrew. But can you sing it, sir? I cannot. This is incredible. You want American taxpayers to build a 50-foot idol of Steve Gutenberg in Tel Aviv, and you can't even sing Hebrew? Ted Cruz, if Israel were a woman, where would you take her on a date? We would stroll along the shores of the Sea of Galilee. I would tuck a lock of her coarse raven-like hair behind her ear, the seabirds calling in the distance. Then, softly and gently, we would join hands and sacrifice a goat. Where would you take Israel on a date, Tucker? The garbage. Tucker, why are you so hostile? Every Christian who has ever lived in the last 2,000 years has believed what I believe about Israel. No, that's not true. The idea that the promises God made to Israel can't be fulfilled in the church because Israel and church are two uncombinable, entirely distinct concepts is a hyper-literalist reading of the scriptures that didn't emerge until the mid-1800s when it was invented by some English guy named John Nelson Darby. You rang. That is not your name. Go away. Well, I never in all my life. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Whoa, look at that hair. I know, I hate how hauntingly handsome he is. He looks like the pastor of Windswept Melancholy Baptist Church. He looks like a guy from Gothic Bad Boy magazine whose picture teenage Emily Bronte glued to her bedroom wall. He looks like a Victorian Abercrombie & Fitch model died and went to Vidal Sassoon heaven. Vidal Sassoon was Jewish, so if we don't stop using Israeli forming cream immediately, 50 million Americans will die in World War III. How are you more unlikable than I am?
Huh. It's my favorite part of the interview right there. That was definitely the best part.
That was funny.
I love
that stuff.
Let's listen to that tire. Hans Finney. Best channel.
No, I know. I'm just what drugs do you take to like come up with that script?
Don't attack a good LCMS pastor. How dare you stand? Unrelated, but did you hear about the ACL's new class action lawsuit on behalf of the unborn? It's meant for birthright citizenship, but if successful, could end the abortion debate permanently. Are they arguing that unborn babies are people? Because that'd be hilarious if they tried to do that. I bet that's what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah, I have to look into this.
We'll look into that. Yeah. God was with Israel when they chose a king, although he didn't like it. Therefore, saying he is not with Jewish state because of Netanyahu or secularism or democracy doesn't make sense. We're not saying he's not with the Jews. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that when the Bible says to bless Abraham, it's talking about the nation he set up through Abraham, which is in Christ. That's the nation. And that is the church now. Jews and Gentiles are in that nation if you call upon the name of the Lord. That's what this is talking about. It's not saying if you bless Jews, you get blessed. Or if you curse Jews, you get cursed. That's not at all what that's saying. So that's our problem, is that it's not that we are against Israel. It's not that we're saying, it's also, we're not saying you should always support Israel, even though they do evil. Like, we're not saying either of those. We're saying that they have just misinterpreted their Bible. Ted Cruz gives excuses to anti-Semites by sounding dumb and not understanding what the Bible's saying and taking things wildly out of context.
Yeah. And we can all agree that that all of us three here are think that we should all unconditionally support Israel. So yeah,
all the time, yes.
No matter what they do. Yeah.
Everything they do is perfect.
Everything is perfect. Yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
My libertarian anti-interventionist view: Israel has the right to defend from direct threats like October 7th, but offensive strikes that cause collateral damage to innocents isn't okay.
I mean, collateral. There is no war that doesn't have collateral damage. It would be, especially if we are dealing with a place like Gaza, it would be incredibly unrealistic to have a war where there are no civilian casualties. This is why there is a concept named called proportionality, which people really started taking out of context and misrepresenting during this war, which is that so in warfare, you expect to have a certain amount of civilian casualties, but by international law, it is usually required that that the civilian casualties that result as a that happen as a result of a certain operation, of a certain strike, for example, are not done in excess. And by that, the meaning is not that their number shouldn't be too high. The meaning is that a side that is engaged in warfare should do the best they can to avoid civilian casualties, unless the civilian casualties are unavoidable. In Israel's case, this is usually done by dropping leaflets, dropping flyers and things like that onto the population, having knock bombs, which first make a sound to warn the people that there is a strike incoming, to directly broadcast things like this is a safe zone, that is not a safe zone, and so on, and also to place calls to say, we're going to have an operation in this region, please leave before the strikes arrive. And sometimes the time frame is a very, very short one, so it's very dangerous. But this is basically what it is. So this is international law. Civilian casualties are expected, especially in a densely populated place like Gaza, where there is urban warfare taking place. But you have to make sure that you minimize them. And so John Spencer, I cited him quite a few times, is an expert in urban warfare, and he has consistently said that that Israel is going above and beyond to make sure that they are that they minimize civilian casualties, and is actually doing a better job at urban warfare than any other state in the history of urban warfare. This is what John Spencer says, the foremost expert on urban warfare. You're muted.
Like you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah.
You're muted.
Ayatollah just got back from the Holy Sepulchre and said, I didn't get spit on, but I did get farted on, sitting behind a Hasidic guy who ate something foul. Sad. Weird followers that AP brings over when he comes on. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Muslims descended from Abraham too, promises kept. Yeah, I mean, there's another issue. If you're going to claim that like anyone descended from Abraham gets the promise, Ishmaelites, that too?
No.
The Jews committed falafel chemical warfare on me in Jerusalem. When will the Jewish farting stop? What is going on with these weird ass?
What is this profile picture?
It's great. I love it. Dispensationalism is false. Yep, it's true. But its doctrines of the imminent return contradicts the idea that any event can precede his return. So current events in modern Israel is not relevant. Yeah, that is also an issue I have. This nonsense about we're living in the end times. Again, as post-millennialist, nope, we're not living in the end times because fullness of Gentiles has not come in yet and Israel has not been saved. So those two things need to happen before the end times can happen. So yeah. Are y'all going to the Blessed God Summit? Only if AP goes.
When is that?
Is there another one happening already, or
March? It'll be March. he's got to be talking about the one in March because that's what I've been talking to Ruslan
You mean
about.
next year, March?
Yeah. AP doesn't know what he's having for breakfast tomorrow. How's he supposed to plan for March?
What a question, man.
If Mike makes me go, I will go. Maybe we could have by that point we could probably have a few cool things to talk about too. But
yeah, I want to do a debate there, so I'm trying to petition Ruslan for that. You think Genesis 12:3 manifests anti-Semitism, like people who curse Jews and end up cursing themselves, bringing misery on themselves and society? No. I don't even follow this train of thought here. I don't get
Genesis 12:3 again.
That's that bless Abraham thing. Same thing. Like it's the same thing we were just talking about.
Powerful.
It wouldn't make sense for this to be anti-Semitism since, the surrounding ancient Near East is going to be largely Semitic.
I would have to. So there's a misunderstanding of the term anti-Semitism. So the anti-Semitism is actually a term that was coined and popularized or invented, you could say, by a German guy who was himself anti-Jewish explicitly, and so he came up with the word and coined it and solidified it in order to make a distinction between being against the Jewish religion and being against the Jewish people ethnically as they are. So he described the people who are ethnically Jewish as those who speak a Semitic language or those who are Semitic. So he coined the term anti-Semitism as actually a positive thing, because to him being an anti-Semite was a good thing, as a term specifically reserved for being against Jews. So when we say anti-Semitism, you can't really say, well, the others are also Semitic. Because it's just more Jews.
That makes sense.
Did you look at Numbers 24:9? I missed that. Numbers 24:9 is he crouched, he lay down like a lion and like a lioness. Who will rouse him up? Blessed are those who bless you, and cursed are those who curse you. Yeah, it's the Balaam oracle. It's talking about, again, descendants of Abraham. It starts with Abraham, and it's also talking about them as well there. So nothing really changes there. That doesn't really change our point that we made earlier about what this is. This is why political grifting is an issue. It blurs the true meaning of the Bible with your own beliefs, and sadly, I've seen many loved ones fall down. Yeah, it's taking Christianity and making it some sort of political nonsense always ends in disaster. We need to prevent that kind of crap.
Unless you agree with my political nonsense.
That's true. We have to agree with AP on everything. He's the Mahdi, after all.
Does the Mahdi have authority over you as my magisterium?
Yes.
Yes,
Mike?
Obviously. Yes.
Oh, okay. So,
okay. Kamini Hamhan in Book of Esther, same name, same evil, proves Genesis 17, eternal covenant is still valid. It has nothing to do with Christianity. So this happens before Jesus, which is the Book of Esther. So I don't see how that addresses our point. And we're not saying the covenant is not eternal. In fact, our point is that it is eternal, but it's fulfilled in Christ. And he is the descendant of Abraham, descendant of the Davidic monarchy, the true king, and all his people are under that covenant now through him.
So there is a funny thing, which is some people subscribe to this. There's this theology which is sometimes called replacement or supersessionist theology. And some people in some cases people just accuse people of subscribing to that because it sounds like it, but some people do actually argue that that when Christians emerged, that when Christ came, a new theology or a new covenant was established. That is, and so a new relationship, a new Israel was established, and the other Israel completely died out. That's not what is traditionally believed to be true. What is traditionally believed to be true is that Israel as is continues uninterrupted. Just when Christ comes, the Gentiles who believe are then grafted in, whereas those of the Jews who reject Christ, who are also called the natural branches, are broken off. However, they will be, according to Paul, just as they were broken off, and just as the Gentiles were taken from a different wild tree and grafted into the tree of Israel, those who are temporarily hardened will also in the future be very well grafted back in. So it is just a continuous Israel. There is never a replacement. There is never a breaking of the covenant.
What kind of tree are you, Ridvan? You look like an apricot tree.
I am.
Yes. Yeah. We all know what Than is. Olive tree. Very obvious. Very obvious, Than. Can't even hide it.
Why do you say that, Mike?
Because your sexy beard, obviously.
I want to be a fig tree.
Fine, you can be a fig tree. I'm an apple tree because I'm a good old American. So Muslims invade our lands over the thousands of years and cheer, yet when we defend ourselves, they whine and cry foul. Same thing for Israel. Yeah, it's ridiculous, honestly, dealing with, like, I see the memes like, Al-Andalus was so beautiful and wonderful, and then they genocided the Muslims and kicked us out. Like, no, you guys conquered and tried to invade and then tried to move into France. Like, what are you talking about? Like, utter ridiculous. Like, colonialism is only cool when Muslims do it, apparently.
Yes.
I really don't get it.
It's a tactic. I'd only say it's a tactic. They're like very much like this is just part of their tactic. They think Allah has given them the earth. They can conquer, take whatever they want. If they're losing it, I mean, that's going against Allah, so they have a right to do this kind of crap. And I think it's just a tactic to play on the sympathies of a lot of liberals right now. My point being, if dispensationalism is even true, it still doesn't protect them if they break covenant with God, which they have. God is just as well as merciful. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. TC, Ted Cruz, the state of Israel is Israel equals Jews. Yes, that's ridiculous. You're absolutely right. Snip of these, but it's Israel, or ship of these, but it's Israel. I don't know.
Ship of Theseus.
Oh,
the whole mereological puzzle thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see what they're doing there. That makes sense. I read them wrong. AP Jay said he would like to join you and David on the debate review and how Jay was done dirty by Cameron. Didn't Jay block you?
No, we made peace.
Okay.
So we did have a little bit of a fallout, a little bit of a fight, if you can call it that. But then we eventually came together. Yeah.
Who won the Mubahala?
Then we were reviewing, and he wanted on, and we eventually invited him on, and we made peace, and we agreed that both of us were kind of at fault, and so on. So
that's good. I've honestly not watched that whole Cameron thing that he hosted. I just like I've seen some of the reviews, and I'm just like, do I really want to waste time? I saw like the beginning. Yeah, I got less than that. I was just like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to get into the bad stuff. So. Then crucifixion of the warrior god or cross vision, which is better?
They're both from Boyd, and Boyd's using the cruciform hermeneutic in both.
I still need to finish reading that. I have it over here.
I would just say go with the 2-volume series, Crucifixion of the Warrior God, and try to push through it. I don't agree with everything Boyd says in that again, but probably the better of the two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I need to get back to it. I'm planning for a debate on June 22nd on Rattlesnake TV, and so I've been preparing a lot for that, reading stuff about that. So that's what I've been focused on. Than, thoughts on different readings of Romans 8:28, which is, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to His purpose.
I guess I don't understand the question.
Thoughts.
Isn't it 29 the one that actually talks about predestination?
Maybe that's what he meant. For those whom he foreknow, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his son in order that he, that one.
Different readings than mine, or I guess I think the reading that is most plausible is where Paul's talking about a specific group of people. So those that do believe are the ones that are predestined for XYZ. So I have this group of people, whoever joins this group of people are the people that get XYZ kind of a thing. That's at least how I see it.
The theocracy ended with Samuel or Samal. What do you people expect? If Israel appoints a Davidic king, now Jesus would not be the Messiah. So how would God reconstruct Israel in preparation for the Messiah? I don't think the theocracy ended with Samuel. I think it just took on a whole new form after that. Any supposed messianic figure that Israel would appoint, if they ever try to do that, we would reject outright for sure.
What if I know you have your eschatological perspective and all that, but what if something like this, for example, happened in the future? There is a Messiah comes, right? And it's very, very obviously in line with what Christians expect Jesus to be, and proclaims the truth of the gospel and all that. Or he first comes as the Jewish Messiah, let's say, and then once all the Jews accept him as the Messiah that he is, because he fits completely into the expectations of the actual Messiah that they expect according to the scriptures and the prophecies, he then reveals himself to be Christ, and then proclaims the truth of the gospel. And then this is how Christ reunites and reconciles the natural branches and the Gentiles who were grafted in, and this is the eventual plan. Like, of course, this is just a ridiculous theory on my behalf, but do you think such a thing could be considered even like possible, for example?
I would hope that I'm not around if this happens, and that I'm dead, so that way I don't make a mistake by judging the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree with Than. I think it could be possible for sure. It'd be cool if something like that were the case, but I mean, like, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
That's why it's a mystery.
I would just not want to be around when this happens.
I'd say if we're going to get there, we need to get to the point where like Christianity is at least 60-70% of the global population. And I think we'll get there in a couple centuries, but it's just taking its time.
But this is why we need to restart the Crusades, man.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Retake Constantinople. That's fine. Let them. I'm so done. I'm so not worried how many atheists I upset at this point.
I know.
Michael Jones, do you have any thoughts on Orrin McIntyre? Nope. Don't even know who that is. I think he like works for the Blaze. That's all I know. He works for the Blaze. No.
What's wrong with you, man?
Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you're telling people what they can believe about Israel and the Bible, but you don't know who Orrin McIntyre is?
What's wrong with you?
Why would they be mad when they will become a minority in their indigenous lands? He is purposely stupid, or are his parents first cousins? What? I don't know what this is a reference to.
I have no clue what's happening.
I think that's what Tucker said at one point. I don't know.
Oh.
Candace Owens said in her latest show episode that Trump called her to stop talking about Macron's wife. Sure, Candace. Yes, that's what Trump is worried about right now. Candace Owen, this crazy right-wing fanatic, talking about the French prime minister's wife.
Well, I would actually believe. I know it sounds kind of messed up, but I would actually believe that Donald Trump would do something like that. You know, I don't know. I don't believe anything Candace Owens says, but still.
I don't either. She's an idiot.
I don't even know anything about this.
Yo, she was claiming that Macron's wife is transgender. Was originally a boy.
And obviously she was doing that to distract from the fact that she is actually transgender.
That is true. Everyone knows that she is transgender, and people were catching on. So she had to come up with the whole story.
Yeah.
About, it's all part of her plan.
Yeah.
Trying to research about how we as Christians should go about mental health issues within ourselves and others. Any good resources? I don't know of any resources. I know the book Bad Therapy. People got a lot of good stuff out of. It's a book my wife read about how sometimes therapies become like a market. People get stuck in therapy and then they're told they have all these problems to keep them, clients as future therapists. I'd start maybe with that book. But we as Christians, you don't have to hold to like Christian. You don't have to see a Christian therapist. There are plenty of good therapists out there. And we can accept the science on mental health in a lot of ways. Than, watch one.
Jesus.
You need Jesus. Mother trucker. Than, watch One Piece. They cut off a lot of fluff. Okay.
Just like Dragon Ball Z Kai. This is the One Piece
Listen,
version of Kai.
You put in $1,000 donation, Than will watch One Piece. That's all we're saying.
Oh my gosh. Mike, you're gonna have to deal with me not working for a little bit if that's gonna happen.
All right. A $10,000 donation. My thought is, what's the difference between Israel and most Middle Eastern countries? Israel is the one that isn't run by religion, that explicitly wants to kill Christians and by extension, Americans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well said. Some loser named David Wood got in here and he's like, you fake Christians need to stop worshiping the Schofield Bible. Start worshiping Candace Tucker, Nick Fuentes, Syrian Girl, and the Prophet Muhammad. Well said. Well said. We all should. They should be our new lords and messiahs. Yes.
It's right here. Look. See?
Oh no.
You see?
He worships it.
You see?
Luke 21, Jesus refers to physical restoration. Thank you. OP location is known. Getting to it is extremely hard. What? What OP location? Okay. Do you believe in demonic spiritual attacks? Yeah, I do. I think they can happen. I don't see. Well, I'm skeptical of Tucker's because he says he got scars and he didn't show them. And the default position when it comes to things like that is, okay, let's see the evidence first. If you're going to claim you've got scars and you don't show them, I'm skeptical. So yeah, I think demonic attacks happen. I doubt it's going to be a lot of physical. It's probably more mental, if anything. That's what exorcists talk about that have been on Matt Fradd. But I mean, again, I'm not an expert on that, but I'm also just not, my default position is not going to believe everything I hear. Coming out of the occult, this type of stuff with the demonic happens. I have seen angels and had a prophecy come to pass from them. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen. I'm just saying, if Tucker's going to have scars and he's not going to show them, you should be skeptical. I support Israel, but Jesus shouldn't be used to push ideology or deflect critique. Christ alone must remain the center. X is toxic in this regard. X is super toxic.
Very, very.
The Ottomans took Slavic boys as soldier slaves and committed genocide upon the Christians in their sad empire. Russia got them back till it went commie. Yeah. Yeah, Ottomans did a lot of horrible stuff, kidnapping all sorts of Christian youth, forcing them to convert to Islam, taking girls and to be basically as sex slaves.
My point earlier was that they wouldn't, that they haven't done anything to the Christian, that they haven't done anything like brutally atrocious to Christian sites. They did absolutely do things to Christians themselves.
For sure.
Yeah, different story.
Really messed up. Do you guys think Christian Catholic integralism could work as a defense against Islamic encroachment in America, or would it be too problematic? Are you talking about like being ecumenical? Like, I think all Christians should strive to be ecumenical. I think the more ecumenical we can get, the better we will be in fighting Islam. And
gotta be careful what you mean by ecumenical. Some people have big problems with that word nowadays.
Yeah, I know. So stupid.
Wait,
so
why?
Angry about it because they don't want to be. They told it's of the Antichrist.
It's a heresy. It's of the Antichrist, of the devil. And all that.
I hate people. Thing you probably don't remember, but did you ever look to see if shadow clone is a good analogy for the Trinity? He obviously doesn't remember.
Sorry, man. I do not remember. But if you email me whatever was happening in this conversation we had, maybe it'll ring a bell.
Watch the Lutheran satire of it on this. Yeah, we did. Super chat came in a little too early, bro. This is my first super chat for the channel. Woo! Thank you. Here's a dad joke for you. What is a priest's favorite candy bar? Almond Joy. Ridvan loved it, guys. Look at him. He loved it.
I saw an equally as bad dad joke this morning, actually. It was, we have the Nicene Creed, but nobody ever talks about the Jerkine Creed.
I'm going to leave.
Yeah, I'm going to get him out. There you go. You feel better now? I've downgraded Than. He's now on the lower
supporting-
bar.
I'm not supporting that joke. I'm just pointing it out.
Well, you've been downgraded to the lower level. I've moved Ridvan up.
What is this, man?
AP, if the police drops leaflets where a murderer is hiding, that doesn't mean you can bomb the neighborhood. We tried our best isn't a good excuse.
It actually is. You out of necessity, you have to fight. You absolutely have to. Look. Here's the funny thing. You have a terrorist organization that embeds itself within the population in this region, and sorry to say, but most of the people in there also are not necessarily innocent, and very often proved themselves to be to be collaborators with the terrorist organizations that have carried out incredible atrocities. You have this terrorist organization build tunnels under the civilian population instead of building shelters, and have them fire rockets, fire missiles, throw bombs, kidnap and slaughter and rape people, and all that for decades. And they do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. At what point do you think the other side will snap and will say, you know what, it's time to stop. It's time to stop, and we're going to stop you no matter what. You can't just simply, terrorists can't just simply go into the field and shoot at the opponent and then hide behind the civilian population and say, "Oh, okay, now you can't bomb anymore because now we're among civilians. It's forbidden. You can't bomb. What if you accidentally kill civilians? Haha." Sorry, at some point the other side has to act. And when the other side has to act, unfortunately, you will have innocent people and uninvolved people be caught in it as well, which shouldn't happen. It's incredibly sad. But here is also the other issue. All of this would not be happening if the majority of the population in Gaza was not in some way supportive of the terrorists. On October 7, when the terrorists carried out the October 7 attack, 70% of the Gazan population, 70% of the population said that they approve of it. And they helped it in one way or another. It wasn't just terrorist organizations, not just militants. It was civilians who came in. The Hamas terrorists and their allies, when they go back into the field inside Gaza, took off their military uniforms and put civilian uniforms on, and then started firing rockets while wearing civilian uniforms, civilian clothes. This is a very, very messed up state, and at some point it has to stop. You should be Israel should get some credit for not having flattened that place back in 2007 when everything started.
It's a lot messier than people want to.
Very messy. Yeah. According to Genesis 12:3, do we bless the Alzut? Says
Yes.
Adam. Absolutely. No, my imam. I know his denomination. It'll shock you. Don't tell them, imam. Don't tell them. My imam will reveal my denomination, guys. Don't do it. The Muslims destroyed Cordoba themselves. Damn fools.
That's what they did.
accurate. Did they? I don't know. I have to look at that. Maybe they're just joking. I don't know. Ask a Mormon about Matthew 22:30 and watch the fur fly. What, Matt? 22:30. For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the Jews saying to Ted Cruz idea of Israel. I see. Atheists be like the Crusades were bad while ignoring the Soviet Union, bathing Russia in our clerics' blood and cheering for it. Yeah, that was a lot of that was going on for sure. Nathan Johnstone talks about this in his book, The New Atheism, about how there was a lot of people killed in the name of atheism in Soviet Russia. A lot of Orthodox priests were shot. It's pretty messed up.
Yep.
Zechariah 12 is interesting because God saves Israel and they mourn for the one that was pierced, similar to AP's idea on Israel. AP, you should read Zechariah 12, apparently.
Inshallah.
Would it be incorrect to believe God still has plans and promises for Israel that still stands to this day, still making them God's chosen people? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Promises are irrevocable.
I know of one very respected Orthodox hierarch that I referenced in the past quite a few times, Callistos Ware. He passed away very recently, who explicitly, for example, said that the Jews are still God's chosen people in a way, and things like that. So there are quite interesting perspectives on this.
Yeah, I mean, there is Romans 9. They are Israelites, and to them belongs the adoption, the glory, the covenants, the giving of the laws, the worship, and the promises. To them belong the patriarchs, and from their race, according to the flesh, is Christ, who is God over all, blessed forever. Amen. So they're still part of the plan. They were God's chosen people to bring us the Messiah.
Why are you saying magic Jew blood?
Magic Jew blood, it's everywhere. Sorry, I didn't realize quoting from the Bible meant I believed in magic Jew blood. My bad.
Magic Jew blood is everywhere.
Are humans fundamentally physical or spiritual? Spiritual, what exactly does that mean? Why not both? It's both, dude.
Both, yeah.
No. I mean, I'm an idealist. Like Callistos Ware was. He was an idealist. And so am I. And yeah, so we would believe in the physical is like a manifestation of the mental, but it's still an important aspect of you that you cannot change, and it's an important part of you.
Super based.
I always ask anti-Semitic Christians who defend Islam, would you rather be spit on by Jews or shot by Muslims? Yeah. The pro-Islamic Christians are pretty messed up people. So many ways. I don't even understand how they exist. Islam is in no way, shape, or form an ally to Christians. That needs to be just said flat out. They're not here to help us. They're here to conquer us. Can we play Fortnite? No, I don't have Fortnite, so I can't play it because I don't have it. I don't feel like
I'll download it and play with you if you're on the Discord server.
All right, get on the Discord server there. How dare IP be on the same stream with a Greek?
That's true.
Do you not like Greeks, KP?
What? No, I'm a Greek. That's why. I have become a Greek because I converted to because I'm an Orthodox Christian. That means I'm a Greek.
Very based. Very based.
Thank you.
2 words, Discord server. Yeah, you can get on there and play games with Than. Ottomans converted Hagia Sophia to a mosque and executed the patriarch during the Greek Revolution. I don't know if they're better than the Taliban, not gonna lie. Yeah, they did some
good point.
Bad stuff. That's a good point. Yeah. Good point. I should have put that up. I should have put that up there. I just read it and didn't put it up. There it is. So there. What's your email? What's your email? It was back on your channel like a year ago. I asked if it was a good analogy. You said you'd look into it, but I have ADHD and forgot. Well, so does Than. It's okay. Obviously, too.
Just Than at inspiringphilosophy.com.
God's chosen people are the Jews. Get over it, betas. All right. We got to get over it.
Good point.
Tuck won't show scars because Tuck got the zut. Oh, okay. That's what happened. It wasn't a demon that got him in his bed. It was the men of the El Zut guys.
Of course it hurt. That's why it hurts so bad.
Did you see the video of Iranian mothers lifting up their babies, offering them as martyrs? Did you see that, AP?
I did see. It's actually not very. It's not very new. It is actually a common or a regular ceremony that they do, where they, I think once a year or so, they in memory of the martyrs, they raise up their children or their babies and say, my child is ready to be a martyr for the Ayatollah. It's pretty messed up, man. It's kind of death cult mentality.
Yeah, it's a ceremony thing is what it says here. So
okay.
Yeah.
My initial interpretation was much worse than this, but this is still bad to me.
It's always bad. I mean, yeah. IP, can I join your ministry? I can teach business apology class. I will show how to rip off illegal immigrants to make money. Yeah. Why don't you contact Than about that? He can help you with that. We'll have 8 interviews for you to go through. So Is it a sin to escape the matrix via gamble? Absolutely not. We all have to escape the matrix, and the Mahdi Andrew Tate is the only one who can help us.
The Mahdi Andrew Tate.
Only one who can save us. Than, do you want to join my door-to-door sales team? Do you, Than?
I don't have time.
No,
Unless you can pay me like 200,000 a day, I'll take that.
All right. We'll set it up. Yeah. Thank you, Max, for the super chat, or Makes, however you pronounce it. I too know his denomination. No, not my Pandit. No, not him. No, don't reveal my denomination, Pandit. Is that how you pronounce that word?
Pandit?
Pandit? I don't know.
I don't know.
So clearly I'm not Hindu. Okay.
Mr. Pandit.
I said it, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I've never heard that term before, but Pandit sounds more accurate. Where do I start studying? Where I should and shouldn't support Israel, like against Palestine, Iran. I'm 18 now and need to get into politics ASAP. So where do I start studying? Where I should or shouldn't support Israel? I don't know. Where should they start studying, guys?
Epistle to the Romans. Epistle to Romans.
There we go. That's where you should. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching a lot of the channel called Real Life Lore. He's very good about dissecting geopolitics, and he talks a little bit. He's had some videos about Israel and the Middle East and all this stuff. And from a geopolitical standpoint, Israel is the best friend to the West, to Western nations right now, in terms of preventing an Islamic caliphate, Islamic takeover of that region. I mean, if they got rid of Israel, that would embolden people in the Middle East to start advancing Islam in conquest-like ways. Keeping Israel there is a huge morale defeater. It destroys the Islamic morale. And I don't ever want to see another Islamic caliphate, another Islamic conquest. And I would worry that if Israel would go away, that could be a next step following that.
I have to say, as someone from a Muslim background, people really do not understand the significance of Israel in the Muslim mindset and what it would mean for Muslims and their, geopolitical ambitions for Israel to be defeated. You seriously cannot understate it. It would be it is to them. This is a matter of life and death, but it's even more than that. It's like this is the ultimate thing that they're waiting for. They think that there is only one obstacle, only one issue in the way of Islamic dominance again, and that is the state of Israel. If the state of Israel was somehow defeated by the Muslims, it would be the signal for them to restart the conquests, to restart the caliphate. And the idea, after Saturday comes Sunday, so after the Saturday people come the Sunday people, so first the Jews, we get the Jews out of the way, then we come to the Christians, would immediately start running again. I grew up in a family where I learned as a child about our enemies, the Jews, our enemies, Israel, and so on. People are nowadays in the West so much influenced, or maybe some people are paid, some people are influenced by bots, I don't know, because of Muslim influence in the world, because of the high numbers of Muslims in the world who have such an impact on what people may or may not think, that they actually think that that this has nothing to do with Islamism and Islamist eschatology. It absolutely does. It is at the heart of Islam in the world. Muslims everywhere care about Jews and Israel. The downfall of Israel, as Hamas themselves, by the way, also predicted and said and promised, which is why Muslims around the world have some messed up support for Hamas, would mean the rise of the Islamic imperialism once again. And you don't want that. Israel has been very good, has been an incredibly reliable ally to America, which, by the way, there is this recent stupid trend of acting like JFK was an enemy of Israel, and they took him out. JFK was like one of the biggest fans of Israel in terms of US presidents.
But AP, he never kissed the wall. He never kissed the wall. You see, there's no picture of him kissing the wall.
He pointed this out as well. He said that that there is a unity, an alliance like none other between the U.S. and Israel, and it is of crucial importance that we keep it a national commitment to keep that alliance, not the the worship, but the alliance solid against the enemies of Israel, because the enemies of Israel are not just the enemies of Israel; they're also the enemies of you.
IP, stop acting like a Jew. No, I can't. I'm trying to imitate Christ, so I keep acting like one. I'm sorry, can't help it. It's gonna keep happening. Clickbait thumbnail. Than still has hair in it. Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. Yo, if we get one more super chat, we get 100 super chats for this stream. So someone put in one more super chat, and then we'll reach 100. And I'm gonna finish these last ones out.
Mike is a grifter.
Totally. Where's David Wood? He's the best crash out. Yeah. I don't know. He's going to be on the channel Thursday. We're going to look at some Islamic dilemma stuff. Of course, AP is welcome back as well. J and DOC should be there as well. So more Islamic dilemma stuff coming. I love that argument. It's one of my favorites now.
If David is there, I'm not joining.
Okay, he's not coming if David's coming. So there. But yeah, so he'll be there. I should be on his channel tomorrow. I have to talk to him about that. We'll see. IP is Daoshi. This joke might be getting old. No, it's wonderful. Keep it going. Love it. The Schofield Bible is the only true word of God. This is true. This is true. It is what Moses wrote when he handed it down to Israel. The Schofield Bible. I'll be the 100s. Thank you. We made it. We got it. All right. We made it through all 100 super chats, and we did it in under 2 hours. That's good.
Nice.
Got another.
Are AP and David Wood in the Discord? I don't think so. Only cool people are in the Discord.
That's true.
Yes. No. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. We'll be live tomorrow on the channel with Dr. Joshua Sijiwati in Philosopher's Garb debating Trinity stuff. One more. Wait, you just want my money? That's right. That's why I go to your church, Daoshi. So I get your money from you. That's how that works. So yeah. I don't know. AP, what are you working on? What are you doing?
I was actually supposed to go on a trip. I was supposed to be traveling, being on several different podcasts, but I had to cancel my trip, which is why I'm still here. Because I got sick and my kids got sick and all that, so I had to stay home. But I have some really, really good stuff coming up. I am also preparing a video about whether Christians and Muslims worship the same God or not.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And yeah, lots of good stuff.
How do I become a Jew? You die and you're reincarnated as one. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So video coming out Friday. We're playing to Lily J, showing how she doesn't understand anything. Again,
the great scholar
Lily J. Yes, I'm going to use ChatGPT to debunk her. And of course, more stuff on the Islamic dilemma coming out. But I got a video coming out next week. It'll be up for donors this weekend on how Christianity saved children. So right after the 4th of July, I'm going to be going into the history about how Christians created orphanages and did sex slavery for children, rescued them from infanticide, all sorts of things. So a lot of stuff going on with that, for sure. All right, I'm gonna close this out so we can all get some dinner or whatever you guys are doing. Fan needs to go home. He's at an office. It's horrible. You look like you're like at like literally like the word like the show The Office.
Yeah, it's really depressing in here.
Yeah, miss your old setup. So. All right, guys, thanks for coming. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the channel, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 Eastern.
Awesome.
You made it to the end of this video, which means this message matters to you. If you want to see more content like this reaching people for Christ, you can help make it happen. Your support makes these videos possible. Click the link below and donate today. And if you want to go even deeper, consider joining our Patreon community. You'll get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and a place to connect with others passionate about this mission.